If you want to start a daily Bible reading habit in 2026, then I want to invite you to join me in reading the book of John to start off January. John is a great book because it's all about the story of Jesus, his life, his teachings, his miracles. John is 21 chapters, and so for the first 21 days of January, I'll be reading one chapter a day, and each day I'll post a video sharing something I liked and what stood out to me about the chapter. And if you want to join me in this, I would love to know what you liked about the chapter as well. You can let me know in the comments, and it can be like our own little Bible study to start the year. So if you want to start a daily Bible habit in 2026, or keep a daily Bible habit from 2025 going strong into 2026, I'd love for you to join me in reading one chapter of John a day for the first 21 days of January. So for day 1 today, here's what I liked about chapter 1 of John. Today I want to share a verse that stood out to me and then something I want to put into practice. The verse that stood out to me is one of my favorite verses, John 1:5, that says, "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it." This verse is talking about Jesus, and he's the light. And I like this because it shows that there's no darkness, no tough times that we can be going through. That Jesus won't be our light shining in it, and that Jesus won't be more powerful than. And it's just my reminder that as long as I have Jesus, I'll be okay. And it brings me peace. And the second thing that stood out to me is something I want to focus on putting into practice. And that is John the Baptist's humility and desire to glorify Jesus rather than himself. We see in this chapter that it starts out by talking about Jesus. And then it talks about John the Baptist preparing the way for him. And it says about John the Baptist in verse 6 that he was a man sent from God. And then it says in verse 8, he himself was not the light. He came only as a witness to the light. And I like that John, whenever asked if he was the Messiah, it says in verse 20, he did not fail to confess, but confessed freely, I am not the Messiah. Instead, he tells them that he is the one who is called to prepare the way for the Lord. And John describes Jesus in humility by saying in verse 15, he who comes after me has surpassed me because he was before me. And in verse 27, he is the one who comes after me, the straps of whose sandals I am not worthy to untie. Then we see after John makes these declarations, the next day is whenever Jesus came to get baptized by John. John was given the honor of baptizing Jesus, because God knew that he was someone who was humble and who would not accept any glory for himself, but would instead glorify Jesus and make sure everyone knew that this was the Son of God. As John says about Jesus in verse 34, I have seen and I testify that this is God's chosen one. In my life, I want to be someone who's like John the Baptist, someone who desires God's glory rather than their own. And as humans, it's natural to desire our own glory and to want all the glory for ourselves. But when we humble ourselves and desire God's glory most, those are the people that God loves to use, because he knows their hearts are pointed towards him, and their lives and actions and words will point towards him as well. And when he raises them up, he will be the one that's giving glory. And so reading about John the Baptist's heart posture and humility always inspires me to live the same way. So that is something I definitely want to focus on putting into practice. And so those are the things that stood out to me today. To be reminded that Jesus is the light who shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. And to have a heart posture of humility like John the Baptist. To want to glorify God rather than ourselves. If you read chapter 1 today, I'd love to know what you liked, what stood out to you. Let me know in the comments. And if you want to join me in reading the whole book of John, I'm so excited and so happy that you do. Let's start this year off strong by reading the Bible together. Thanks for watching. Come back tomorrow for day 2 in chapter 2 of John.